Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today we're back with an opinion about Kodak lowering the prices of some of their film stocks, especially 120 film, which is medium format film, often referred as 120 internally, but it's not 120 millimeters, it's around 60 something millimeters. So recently Kodak has announced, or Kodak Alaris has confirmed, there's a price reduction coming from them of 120 film. This is what is used in cameras like the Mamiya RB6 7.5 back there, Hasselblad's Pentax 6x7, etc. They're more professional film stocks, mostly because they were used in professional environments back in the day, but also the negative is much bigger. What has happened, in my opinion, is back when film started ramping up prices, 35 millimeter film and 120 film were kind of similar and kept going up steadily, and we've seen 30% increase, 40% increase, 30% increase non-stop for years. And this has been a really good thing for the manufacturers to be able to actually allocate the money and the resources to reinvest into making development of new machines, training, and so on. And that is a good thing, and I will be always standing behind that. But also, it has put the customers like me that were buying rolls of film for quite affordable prices now starting to shoot less or starting to shoot smarter. And what I mean by smarter is when you're shooting something like 120, usual amount of frames you get in a roll. So one thing to get over with first is the roll of 120 has pretty much 100% the same surface area as a roll of 35. So theoretically speaking, it should be the same price because there's the same amount of film used. So the square feet or square meters of a roll is the same. But when you're shooting this on a Hasselblad, you're getting around 12 exposures. If you're shooting the 645 back, you're getting 16. If you're shooting 6x7, you're going to get 10 frames per roll. If you're shooting 6x9, you're getting 8. So you get the picture here. You're getting less frames per roll of film. And if this roll of film, let's go for a theoretical price of $10 or €10 a roll, that means that if you're taking TIG pictures, each picture is €1. And if you're sending it to a lab, you can add that labs pretty much charge the same per roll of 35 than of 120. Again, I'm generalizing, but you get the point here. Then suddenly every shot, if you did 10 and you paid 10 for the roll and 10 for developing and scanning, again, not real world scenario, you're paying €2 or dollars, units of money per shot you take. But if you're shooting 35, you're getting 37, 38 exposures per roll if you're using a 36 exposure roll. And the price theoretically is 10 and the roll theoretically is 10. So you're paying 20 euros or dollars to get 37 to 38. That's half of the price. So basically 10, after my calculations, because I'm bad at math, you're paying around 50 cents per exposure. We're going from $2 or euros to 50 cents. That means that for every time you take a picture, you could have taken 4 on 35 millimeter film. And that is one of the things that's been happening. People have been slowly going like, okay, I love film, I love the look of film and the use of film and the reasons I shoot film for, whatever those may be, but the price per shot is becoming a little too much. So I'm going to start shooting cheaper, per shot. And that is not cheaper stocks, which you obviously can. That's why Gold 120 came into market, but also cheaper, film format, size, developing everything. It's just reducing the costs. And that's what we've been seeing here at where I work. But medium format cameras suddenly have started to be harder to sell, harder for people to buy film. We've seen Lomography dropping their prices, and we've seen now Kodak Alaris announcing a drop of the prices. One thing that they've said is these prices have been dropped by them, then it's up to distribution to basically reduce that cost to the customer. So some distribution routes will not see a 35% decrease on Kodak Gold 200 and 120. They might see a 25, and that is because somebody along the way is slightly nibbling a little bit more percentage. Sadly, that's the reality of the film market. There's plenty of distribution and stores and markets and sellers and all kinds of things that are changing the prices. And one thing to note is, for example, one example that I see about pricing is a store that dedicates itself to selling film only, has to make some money out of film. But lots of labs nowadays, their business is not selling film. It's getting the film back to developing. So they're selling film at cost. And I've seen a couple that even bundle it with developing and scanning, and they sell you the film. If this roll of film at cost for a store is $7, they will sell it to you at $7 because they want you to come back and bring the roll to develop. So in my opinion, that's one of the reasons why the decrease of use of medium format has happened. But there's another thing that I think might be right about the industry and what they're trying to do. So a couple months ago, maybe 18 months ago or so, Kodak, you couldn't find Kodak 35mm film. The demand was so high they couldn't keep up with finishing film, basically putting it into the canister. What happened there was, there was a huge increase in demand due to the prices of this stuff getting more expensive per shot. And then also Kodak deciding to stop one of their 2 finishing lines and revamping it to be faster. They had what I call the fast machine and the slow machine. The fast machine was capable of doing more than the slow machine, so they stopped the slow machine to make it better to be as fast as the fast machine. What happens now is that created a lesser output of 35mm film and less, film in the market. That's why projects have started popping up like mushrooms of refinished film, because you could buy film from the coating of many manufacturers, but you couldn't buy it converted. You couldn't buy it finished because the finishing lines were basically over capacity. So that's the thing. They fixed slow machine to make it fast machine. But I have heard, and this is again my opinion, might be a rumor, might be true, that Kodak is planning on stopping the fast machine and making it even faster. Basically either maintenance or faster output. So instead of doing, imagine 100 rolls per second, it can do 150 rolls per second. So they can keep up with production of 35, because like I said, for the reasons before, it probably is the most popular format for all. This is no longer as popular as it used to be due to those prices. So in this case, Kodak can decide to push people to buy more medium format film than 35 with a price reduction. What you do is you grab your medium format film that you have plenty and you don't have a problem with finishing it because they're different finishing lines. Remember, 120 and 35 is a different format. This has backing paper, middle spool, the plastic, the shrink wrap on the outside. Well, this one, shrink wrap on the outside. And then 35 has the plastic canister and so on. So if you reduce the price of 120, you move people's buying decisions towards the 120, and then you can go ahead and hey, come on, go stop the machine of 35, let's fix it as fast as we can, and then push it back in the market. That could be one of the reasons and why they're doing it. Another one of the reasons is maybe the slower demand of 120 is making it not as profitable in many ways. Maybe it's almost going short, dated, or expired in people's shelves. And this is something that has been sort of talked about lomography, is because lomography is not currently producing film in their own factory. They always have some partner that's doing the film for them and maybe converting for them and so on. That's a known fact. But lomography reduced prices, and people, me myself, thought maybe that's because the film is getting old on the shelf. And this is the thing, film is an alive product in the sense that it is organic and will slowly degrade with time. That's why we have an expiry date on the bottom of our backs of film. So my thing is, if you are into shooting film in general, medium format is now getting more interesting because of the reduction. And I'm saying 35% decrease in this is making it still an expensive hobby, or photography, whatever you're doing with your photography, but it is more affordable than it was before. But 35 is that's the problem we're having. I think that Kodak is trying to push you more for 120 due to the refinishing of the converting machine. And I could be completely wrong on this, and it's just a demand and market thing. But medium format cameras are amazing. I highly recommend them. It's just, like, I've sold my 4x5 cameras because I didn't need to shoot such a big piece of film. I was very happy with my RB67. That one's not exactly mine, but I have mine back there. But I also have decided I will shoot 8x10, black and white, and 6x7, no 4x5, because it's really good, but at the same time 6x7 is beautiful. So the look of a Hasselblad or a Pentax 6x7 or a Mamiya 645, anything like this will always be incredible versus a roll of 35. And don't get me wrong, 35mm film can look beautiful, and I love it every day. And there's super sharp lenses and sharp, everything that makes the picture really sharp, and automatic metering and focusing and all this with 35mm cameras. But medium format will be always, to me, the professional kind of look of film, like where it really stands out versus digital or phone photography or anything like that. And it's catching up with fake stuff like, computational focus or whatever it is, and media format sensors and so on. But I still think medium format film is where film photography really stands out, And if you're printing or scanning, it's quite obvious. As in 35, there's a look to it, but people are really getting up to replicating a lot of the look and similarities. But yeah, I would love to know what you think about the price reductions of 120 film. I'll leave a chart throughout the video so you can actually see what's the price differences, and you can maybe talk to your local store, see if they have the price reductions already. If not, is it coming, and so on. Because I think it's good to support your local store, to talk to the stores, to tell them why, you know, you're interested in buying some film, you know, sales are coming, Christmas and so on. And let's be honest, in winter it's harder to shoot film, especially color, at least where I come from and where I live currently. But I still think there's a beauty to medium format film, and I think we keep having to support them. And like we said, Kodak is currently, as long as I know, the one making color 120 film and finishing it and giving it to us customers. Most of the film you see out there that's color film in 120, as far as I know, is only Kodak. So you take it. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. You can like and subscribe. It helps the channel. I'm trying to reach a bit of a threshold before the end of this year. But yeah, thanks, and see you in the next one.